All right, we are back with the Feel Good Marketing Podcast. This is episode number 3. We're low. We're
3.
repping Philadelphia. Let's go. JP, you want to
And
see my
number
shirt?
3. Come on. Oh yeah, nice.
Let's go.
I can dig that. Okay.
I'm repping the Hus Bus just for this.
Nice.
So, as everyone can figure out, we are here with JP Hussey of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors. You got the Hus Bus name representing on there. I love it.
That's right. How are you,
JP,
Val?
how you doing? Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
I am good. I'm doing great. Typical day in the life of a mortgage company where you're putting out fires, but keeping it going. So, like we were just talking about, I got a bunch of stuff going on, but more than happy to sit down with you, no doubt.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And you're in Conshohocken, right?
No, Conshohocken, a little town right outside Philly. Yep.
Love it. And you are, this episode is going to be all about, I didn't even tell JP what this episode is about. So it's all surprises to him just as much as everyone else. But we are talking all about community because that's what you're about, JP. You're all about family, community, helping people out, doing good things. And what I love the most is when you're out there doing things for the community, I never feel like you're just doing it to get business in return. Like you're out there, your whole team, your whole family is out there doing just really good things for the community. And you can see these corporations. You see corporations doing good things and philanthropy and that kind of thing. And you just kind of know it's trying to save face because there are these big corporations that are just trying to do it to get business. But that's not what you guys are about. And I love that. So we'll touch on that in a little bit, but I just kind of want to get your background story, talk a little bit about how you got into mortgage, how the Hus Bus came about.
Yeah. Oh, all right, cool. I like that story. So let's start with the Hus Bus, right? So I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and growing up, my parents had one of those big conversion vans, right? With the ladder on the back, the whole thing, right? The curtains in the windows, right? I don't think they don't make them anymore, but you might see one. You might see one around, right? So we got the license plate, right? Hus Bus. It just made sense. Last name Hussey, Hus Bus.
Right.
You're riding. You got 4 kids riding around, going on little vacations, whatever it is, to sports. So that's how the Hus Bus kind of came about when I was, I don't know, maybe 9-10 years old, right? So I'm getting old. I'm 38 now, so it's been around over 25 years. Then there was a little bit of a lull. My mom lost the Hus Bus license plate. I do have the old one on my current truck though, and on the front. And I know the guy that has the current Hus Bus. So anyway, if you lose a license plate, someone else can buy it. Someone else has it. He's got a similar last name to me. I actually met him last week. I might buy it off of him. It's a whole thing. That's a whole other thing we can call that. It's getting expensive. So that's how the Hus Bus came about, right? And then we didn't really think about it for a lot of years. But then as I got into the mortgage game, I always said, like, mortgages, man, they suck. They're so boring, right? Like, they're not sexy mortgages. I mean, they're a necessary evil. But like, I wanted to make it a bit more fun, as fun as a mortgage can be, or at least the process. And I used to play in a reggae band back in the day. So I always liked marketing the band. And I'm like, let's get t-shirts and like give t-shirts to people. So I'm like, I need to think of a logo. So I'm like, Hus Bus, get a bus that looks like a house. And hop on the Hus Bus to home ownership. That's like our little slogan, right? So it was all just trying to make it fun because I didn't really love the industry back then. So I had to make it fun for me. So I was motivated to go help people. So that's how the Hus Bus came about, right? It's been on a journey, right? In terms of the mortgage business, my whole family, which is all local around here, has been in insurance, like car, auto, home, for a lot of years. That's my dad, my other brother, my grandfather, my aunt, my uncle. They're still all in it. And I came out of college thinking, hey, that's what I want to do. But I started working with my dad, and my dad's young. He had me young. He wasn't ready to give up his book of business anytime soon, right? I'm always like motivated. I got to go. So I had to make a tough decision to, get out of the insurance game, which was totally cool, and kind of find my own way. And I just called up a buddy. I'm like, yo, I need a job. I don't know what I want to do. And he's like, I got a job at a wholesale lender, right? This is before wholesale got big in the broker world,
Okay.
in Jersey. And I'm like, I'll do it, man. I'll just go out there. And I worked at a wholesale lender just in their credit improvement department, helping people, the regular person, with their credit so they could even just get a mortgage.
Right.
Rolled out there, drove like 2 hours every day to get there. And it just kind of went from there. Then I started seeing what loan officers were doing, and they were making decent money, and they were helping the client, really achieve getting into a house. So, I mean, the real down and dirty story is my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, she's like, yo, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, I got to go make money. So I just hopped in, and,
Yeah.
that was 11 years ago now. And now we're still here. Now we own the company, and, that's kind of the story. Just kind of went with it, and we're here.
That's awesome. I like the
Yeah.
Hus Bus story. That's cool. I never knew the story behind that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's legit. Yeah, now like all my kids, they get called Hus Bus. I'm Hus Bus. Like everyone's a Hus Bus,
Passing it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to go crazy with it, like I'm kind of trippy with it. Like anyone's on the Hus Bus. You're a Hus Bus. I'm a Hus Bus. Like everyone's a Hus Bus, right? So it's all good.
So how the whole I mean, you work with now is your wife involved in the company as well, and your brother?
Yeah, so my youngest brother, Nick, who I'm sure you've probably seen about,
Yeah.
he does some fun stuff. He's exactly 10 years younger than me to the day, which is pretty cool.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he works with us. He's killing it right now. My other younger brother, he works in insurance still, and he's in like the same office, right?
Okay.
And then, yeah, my wife, she has a background in community service and social work, has her master's at Penn, University of Penn.
Wow.
And now, hey, we got 3 kids. She's doing a lot, helping, or not helping. She is raising the kids and watching the kids every day, but she's always wanted to be a part of that. So, yes, she works for the Hussy team, and she's like our, charity director, community director, whatever name that she wants to give herself in that sense.
Yeah.
So the shirt that you're wearing, she came up with, the no strings attached. So yeah, no doubt, we're all family oriented. My dad was in the office today helping. He was shooting his own little insurance video, and we have some
That's
funny
awesome.
videos
Yeah.
coming out. So yeah, we're all in it together.
I think I see your dad around I'm pretty sure I'm friends with your dad on Facebook. I see him around. He's always posting his insurance videos. I love it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, that was a good transition. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm wearing, if you're only listening to the podcast, I'm wearing the No Strings Attached shirt. The Hussy team, you guys are still actively doing that, right? It really came about during the pandemic when everything started.
Yeah.
People were in some bad times.
Yeah, it's been well over a year now. My wife was like, hey, we got to help people out. We're in a good position. The mortgage world has been very good to us, even during COVID.
Right.
Like I was able to work. It was tough, but we were able to work and do well. And why not give back to people that can't? So yeah, it's been well over a year, and we're still doing it. We don't plan to stop anytime soon.
That's so cool. Good for you guys. So as far as, I know you mentioned a little bit about some like fun videos coming out, and I've seen your clear to close videos on Facebook. You guys really have a lot of fun and show it. So when you are looking at, like, let's say if you were to look in your past database of people that you've worked with, would you say they are all pretty much the same demographic and like type of person? Or do you find that I don't want to say turn people away because that sounds like a bad thing, but do you attract those more like fun-loving people because of your personality and kind of the culture that you guys have going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say no to that. I mean, we get a lot of people. Listen, I'm getting older. I'm older than you, but I still feel like I'm like 18, 20,
Young at heart. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're so deep in our community that a lot of people are going to be a lot of like friends of friends of friends. But no, I mean, we work with people of all different demographics, whoever
Mhm.
comes into play. No one, we haven't, there's, I mean, I'm close to doing 1,000 loans in my career at this point, and maybe there's been 2 that were like, oh, this has to be a little bit more quote unquote professional. And I'm
Right.
like, what's professional? Because,
Yeah.
I'm wearing like a jersey right now. I've done the suit thing, I've done the whole thing, but like, you can't you can't market like we do unless you can back it up, if that makes
Mhm.
sense, right?
Yep.
Like I'll put up our financial game plans that we do for clients, advisory type things that we do for clients above anybody else. Don't let the perception of how you're going to be perceived too much affect the type of business that might come in, I guess.
Mhm.
Our results really back up to allow us to be a little bit more bold like we are.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to like mortgages are boring.
Yep.
Like I need to be looser to give my best to the client. So just being who we are really helps that, you know? Um, you've seen it over the past when I started in the industry, people were like, you can't wear that. And I was
Mhm.
never, I think I've gotten looser over the years. Like I've definitely gotten looser. I have 3 kids, I'm like, just grab me a shirt, whatever. But oh yeah, I've taken a lot of flack. Like, you should wear a suit into the office every day. And I'm like, that's cool if you want to. I got nothing against you if that's what
Right.
you want to do. I love it. I love putting on a nice suit, but it's just not who I am, right?
Yeah.
And I think people realize that no matter what you wear or do, if as long as you're trying to not trying, but just being authentic, people smell that out. It doesn't matter. Any type of client will come to you. But I
Yep.
know that's tough for people to get over. I understand that. The people in the sales world, they have to do it a certain way. But I think just being yourself is going to just allow any type of person to come. People just want the authenticity, especially in an untrusty world as mortgages, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, that it is this perception of any salesperson is kind of slimy. They're going to be not
Mhm.
trustworthy. So if you are authentic and you're being your goofy, fun-loving self, I feel like that means so much more to people. It's not discrediting you. If anything,
Yeah,
you're gaining from that,
yeah,
because
yeah,
people
for sure
see
that.
that and it just like speaks to them, because there are so many people who are probably dreading getting a mortgage and going through the boring process.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've even talked to mortgage professionals who say like, I no, I want to wear a suit every day because I want to be viewed as professional. And the thing is, when you're that's totally cool, but if
Yeah.
you're in those meetings and giving your advice and you're knowledgeable, that's professionalism.
Mhm.
And so many other mortgage professionals are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no
They're
doubt. And
dressing the same, they're giving the same advice. So
mhm.
you have to figure out, it's not about a race to professionalism. It's
Mm.
about setting yourself apart and attracting the people that you're going to work the best with. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another good point. Back to your question, like who we're attracting, and yeah, people want to work with someone that they're more comfortable with, right? That's maybe more like them, I guess. But
Hmm.
then again, I think if you break it down even more, people just want to feel comfortable with someone with who they are being, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you gotta back it up. You can't you can't be goofing off all the time and then not get deals closed. Like at the end of the day, like people are buying a house. Like
Right.
that's very important to them. Like you got to get that done. That's for their family. Like we don't lose sight of that at all. Like we were saying before this, I got a deal going on right now and I'm like freaking out. It's closing tomorrow. We don't want to miss anything, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it like that's the most important thing, the consumer, right? But
Hmm.
on the back end, being yourself will allow you to be a bit more loose and more confident in yourself to then give the best to the client. If you're being
Yep.
someone that you're not, then it's tough to give your all to someone else.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think it's going to show. Yeah, I think that shows.
Mhm,
People are usually
mhm.
pretty, they can smell it out from a mile away.
Oh, yeah. People are smarter nowadays with that, man. It's a whole
Yeah.
different world than it was, 10, 15, 20 years ago, even a few years ago.
Right. So, JP, I think you guys, your whole team does a really good job of guerrilla marketing. Like, whether you know it or not, you guys are
Yeah.
everywhere in the Conshohocken, Philadelphia area. Are you, let me ask this first, are you strictly referral based? Like,
Yeah.
you work with people locally, you're not licensed in multiple states, or are you?
No, we are. So we're in Pennsylvania, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just got licensed in Florida, right? But it goes back to
Nice.
starting small, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people from Philly move to Florida or buy second homes in Florida, right?
Yep.
Obviously Jersey. We're working on getting licensed in Jersey right now. Every state's different. Some are more costly than others, but a lot of people from
Yep.
Philly go to Jersey, right? We have family in Maryland. We'll probably get licensed there. But yeah, we are really only PA.
Okay.
We haven't even done a loan in Florida yet because we just got licensed there. So it's only been PA.
Hey, I'm looking. So I'm looking in
Yeah,
Florida. I might hit you
there
up.
we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a great state.
We got fun videos to send you. So
Yeah, there you go. So, having said that, with your kind of guerrilla marketing efforts, can you talk a little bit about the different marketing that you do? I saw you're sponsoring a Fight and Phil's game coming up soon.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
going to
I
be
mean,
sweet.
it really goes down to like marketing things that I like doing anyway.
Hmm.
So one thing I'm really trying to preach to our team, and what I've only really figured out after getting out of the weeds and really growing into who I am, is like figure out your life. The mortgage world can give you so much, right? Like
Hmm.
figure out your life and then design it, your business around your life, instead of the other way. Like, I got a business now, let me fit in some life stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we're all gonna die anyway. You're like, we might as well, we might as
Have
well
some
have some
fun.
fun doing it
Yeah.
all. Why can't you be all in with everything? Why can't you have it all? So um yeah, so in terms of the marketing and the guerrilla marketing, is we find things we like doing, and then we'll market with them, right? I coach baseball, so I'm one of the big sponsors on the scoreboard. Okay,
Hmm.
so there you go. I've always liked, like, if you have one of those big Yeti coolers, or my laptop's filled with stickers, right, from all
Yep.
different companies ever. So we have a ton of different stickers. Hus buses. We have a hologram Hus bus. We got all, like, I go crazy with that. My operations person, Lindsay, like, she wants to kill me. I'm like, we need 100 of them stickers now, right? Like, every day. Um, so yeah, like the Phillies game, the Reading Phillies. We'll sponsor that. We'll be out
Hmm.
there. I'll get to throw, like, I've never thrown out a first pitch ever. I get to do that. Like why can't
That's
we
awesome.
market it to the business and have fun doing it, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be split down the middle if you don't want it to be.
Right. Now, I hate to relate some of this directly to business because I know, like I
Yeah,
said, the
sure.
community stuff that you guys do, you're doing it out of the good of your heart. You're not doing it to
Mhm.
get business.
Yeah.
But from everything that you do, whether it's community related, sponsoring the Fight and Phils, sponsoring your kids' baseball team, do you see any tangible direct business from any one of those particular things more so than the others?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really track it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a organic type CRM that we're constantly building with. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not really trackable, because, like, we have certain buckets where if someone comes in, to buy a home or refinance, the bucket might just say friend. And we should break that down a bit more, because it's just like the whole list is like friends because everyone's our friend, right? So we should break that down, like where it's coming from exactly. That's a really good idea. Um, but yeah, that's where it all comes from. Like, we're not buying leads.
Right.
Everything's from past book of business, friends of friends. Obviously, we do a lot on social media,
Mm-hmm.
which is fun, and people just organically come that way. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's not fully tangible, but we know that's where it's all coming from.
Yeah.
You know, just
Well,
is
I
what
think
it is.
that's kind of a great point though, to be honest, because yeah, it's important to know where your business is coming from and be able to track that. But at
Mhm.
the same time, there are a lot of things that you can do in marketing that aren't directly tangible. And sometimes that, like, if people are really number oriented, they're like, I'm not seeing any ROI from this. It's like, well, you need just general brand awareness. You need to build your brand. So there are a lot of things that you could be doing that are going to strengthen your brand and help you, but you might not see direct results from them. So I think that's a good point, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. I mean, if we were a much bigger company, and which we don't really plan to do on the mortgage side, like we'd rather be boutique and
Right.
you know, have a max of maybe 10 people in the company. At that point, like I learned way back in the day from someone was like, only thing that matters is like, is there money in the bank account and like how much are you spending? Like that's it, right?
Right.
You don't have to get all nerdy and geeky on like this specific thing produced this, right? There's money there, and let's just go there, right? Now if you're a big company, I get it totally. Like you got to be, depending on the company. So yeah, I mean that's just how we really look at it.
That's awesome.
I got a bee trying to sting me. I'm good now.
They're a pain, man.
I know they are. It's like me on Facebook. Get away for a minute.
Just a constant. That's how you gotta be, though. You know, squeaky. What is it? Squeaky wheel gets the attention. You know.
Yeah, but we have fun doing it. You know, and
that's all
not to cut you off, but real quick, like with the social media stuff, I think people get a little bit too businessy with that sometimes, right?
Yep.
Where I don't have a plan for what goes out there. It's really what happens in that moment. People might plan too much and then that authenticity might go away. Yep. All I really think about is I think every morning before 9, I should maybe post something that's on my mind as I'm reflecting for the day. Maybe something around lunchtime if something comes up, and then maybe after 5 o'clock. You know, like I do think of it as business, but it's really whatever comes at me. It doesn't have to be business related. It's usually just like my kids and me, you know?
Yeah.
And then you throw in some business stuff. But yeah, I mean, I just want to make a note of that.
No, that's awesome. And it's more when you're posting business, it's like kind of a reminder almost to your audience. It's not directly asking for business, because I think a lot of people get that twist and it's like, oh, I don't want to be always bugging people and asking for business. It's like, you don't have to though, because you post your personal things, post the things that you care about in your life. And then once in a while, just throw in there, hey, just so you know, I'm still doing mortgages. This is how the rates are looking right now and how the market is, and educate them in some way. And if they see you educating them, then I think you guys just posted something today that was pretty like educational and informative. That's what you need.
Yeah. You want to give, you want to give it out there, because I mean, mortgages, it's such a good tool for your life, right? You know, you save someone $400 or $500 a month on a refinance. That's huge for them. They might be able to go, you know, buy the boat that they wanted to buy. That's the monthly payment, you know? So if you can relate this business to what people's actual life goals are, we call ourselves like life lending sometimes. Like, you know, use this to go do what you want in your life. You know, doesn't have to be just like, oh, $400. That's great. Put it in my retirement. That's cool if you want to do that. But what if you wanted to use it somewhere else and really fine tune the finances? So there's a lot you can do with it. You know, even though no one wants a mortgage, there's so much you can do with it for your just overall life.
And we mentioned this before we started recording here, so I want to bring it up. The Hussy Team Mortgage Advisors. So can you talk a little bit about, you know, a lot of people are mortgage professionals or loan officers. How do you view yourself as an advisor rather than just a loan officer?
Yeah, so it's like, it's really simple based around a mortgage, like financial planning. Right? You could go to a financial planner. They help organize your finances. They put it in different buckets, right? So we go really hard on the front end of getting a client's financial goals, you know, in a form of a questionnaire. You can go right to our site. If you're going to fill something out, we have this whole questionnaire. And they're telling us their goals, right? Like, for instance, if you're buying a house, like what's the comfortable monthly payment for your housing payment? You know, what are you paying in rent? Is that comfortable? Okay, tell us that. What's the max that you'll go? What's the total amount of money? Really simple stuff. The total amount of money out of pocket you want to spend. Forget about closing costs and down payment. Just give me your nut, right? Where do you want to live, right? Because taxes are different. Can we match you up with a real estate agent according to your personality and where you're looking to buy, right? Like, give us all this, just throw up all this info about what you want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to advise you on how to get as close as we can to what you told us, right?
Yeah.
That's how we look at, we're not a loan officer. We're not just pushing loans. That's a big part of it, qualifying. I get it.
Mhm.
But what's more important, in my opinion, is like, why have why qualify for a loan if it's not something that you can really afford, right?
Yep.
Because when you get a loan, no one's taking into account how much you're spending at the bar each day or month. I hope it's not each day. I mean, foul at the bar. You know what I mean?
Don't be like that, JP. Come
But that's not on a credit report. What you
Right.
spend outside of like what's on your credit report's not there, right? So we like, that's qualifying. Credit report and monthly income. That's how they're qualifying you. But what's the real nut? What's the real
Mhm.
thing that you want? So that's how we're going to advise in a really simple way, because that's one of your biggest payments, right? So let's
For
let's
sure.
take that into consideration, and
Yeah.
and then, hey, get you over one of our friends that's a true financial advisor. And now
Mhm.
all this excess money you have, now let's go invest for retirement. Let's
Right.
go here. Where do you want to invest? So that's why we want to be called advisors. We don't want to be called
Mhm.
just loan officers pushing loans. We're advising on the financial side. And I mean, we have a private group that has all our vendors too, like that we know and trust and personally use. We're advising there, like, yo, I need a plumber. Yo, here's a plumber in your area that I know that will take care of you. Boom. Right.
Oh,
So
that's
like,
awesome. Okay.
it's not just financial advisory, it's
Yeah.
life advisory from things we've actually done in our life. And maybe that'll help you out. So that's why
Yeah.
we're advisors.
Yeah, I love that because like buying a home, it's a huge purchase. So that's like things that we just for our company, like we coach on because it is such a big thing. You want to constantly be following up. We coach on an annual financial review so that you are
Mm-hmm.
in touch and know it's like a holistic thing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what their parents are planning on doing, if their kids need to go to school soon, if you can help them out in any way, cash out
Mm-hmm.
refinance, whatever it may be. And that's
Yeah.
going to strengthen the relationship so much more being an advisor rather than just, hey, here's your house. Good luck.
Yeah. Hey, my rate's this. It's a 0.5% lower. You should refi.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't make sense for them. What
Right.
if what if they plan on moving in a year and a half? Even
Mm-hmm.
drop a point in rate, depending on the cost in the state, they're not going to break even, right?
Right.
So asking someone how long they plan on staying in a house, that's a really big one, because then you can
Mm-hmm.
calculate break even points, and
Yeah.
you could advise them like, dude, you're moving in a year. I don't care if we're saving you 200 a month and dropping your rate, by a percent. It doesn't make sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what? You're telling
Yeah.
me no? Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's how you truly advise someone, taking
Yeah.
their goals into consideration, their life goals, and then telling them if it's legit or not, if they should even
Yeah.
do it.
Exactly. I love
Yeah,
that.
no doubt.
So we are getting close to time here, JP. But to wrap up, can you give one piece of advice? I actually got this question a few times when I think we sponsored like a no strings attached, and we got some questions from some of our partners, like how would
Oh,
I
cool.
go about, you know, getting involved in my community like this? So whether it's no strings attached or just community involvement in general, just like lending a hand, how would you suggest getting started?
Yeah.
That might be a big question.
No, it's a good question. I'm trying to think. Um, so how we got started was Rachel had a great idea to do this, right? And then we just put a table out and we started packing up lunches. Like,
Hmm.
this wasn't like, I mean, we're fortunate. We're on a main strip in a small town, so I get that. Um, man, if I was starting again, really find something that you're passionate about. Like, everyone has their own like pain points in their own life of how maybe they wish they were guided. It doesn't have to be like helping out, the less fortunate right now because they're hurting because they don't have a job. That's a great one,
Yeah.
right? But what if you grew up as a young kid and you had extreme anxiety or something, right? Whatever, like youth mental health, whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like, figure out something that you're passionate about, and then figure out a way how you can help that cause, right?
Yeah.
So really dig deep and see what affects you personally and how you've maybe overcome some things, and then go that way with it. You know, I
Yeah.
think that could be a very good way to get started, or just call up other business owners. Like if you want to start more top level, hey, how can we partner together to help our businesses? Right? Again, it's
Yep.
not going about doing these things so you get business. You can't think that way. You
Yep.
got to literally go in, forget about business, and then that business will come to you. But don't, like we talked about, don't think like that's the only reason I'm doing it. Like you
Yeah.
should want to do that stuff anyway, and then things will come to you. It's karma. People talk about
Yeah.
karma. It just comes back. But don't have that in your mind, like, yo, I want to have this crazy ROI, like you said,
Mhm.
because of this, right? No, just
Mhm.
do it out of the kindness of your own heart. Figure out what you're passionate about, and the universe will come back and help you out. It just will.
Yep. That's a that's a great one to end on. That was a mic drop moment right
Yeah,
there,
let's
JP.
do it. I don't have any mics.
And when you find, to your point, when you find something that you're passionate about and you actually care about, it's going to be so much easier to really give your all to that because
Mhm,
it affects you directly. You're going to want to give back to that
mhm.
demographic or that group. So I love that. That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, real quick point again. I mean, the mortgage industry can be very, very stressful. It really can. So you got to take care of yourself too. You got to take care of yourself first, right? To be able to help your team, your consumers, whoever it might be. You got to take care of yourself first. So all you loan officers, mortgage advisors out there, figure out what you're passionate about, have fun with it. It's only loans. People aren't going to die over a loan. Like, chill out, get yourself right first, and then you'll be able to help more people.
Yep. Just have some fun. We're all
Yeah.
going to die. We're all going to
Yeah.
die.
We're all going to die anyway.
On that light note,
Cool. Yeah, right.
JP, thank you so much for joining us today. This was awesome.
Thanks.
Wholesome podcast episode. And if you're in the Philadelphia, Reading area,
Mhm.
when is the Fight and Phils? That's coming
Oh,
up here?
yeah.
What, 2 weeks?
Yeah, August 15th. We have like 150 tickets left. If anybody wants tickets, just hit me up and I'll
I might
just.
hit you up, JP. I'm trying to go. All right.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
whatever. As many tickets as you want.
Sweet. Let's do it.
Cool. Yo,
All
thanks
right.
for
Well,
having
thank
me,
you so
Val.
much. Yep. We'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
soon, JP.
Later.
Thanks, guys.